Hola. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be reviewing the uses of ser and estar and also the conjugations of ser and estar en el presente. This video will require you to listen in a couple of places to get the information. Almost everything is written down, but not quite everything, so you do need to keep that in mind, please. So we're going to get started. We're only going to deal with the present tense now, and we'll deal with el pretérito and el perfecto, the conjugations for that when we review those verb tenses. First thing we need to know is cómo conjugamos el verbo ser en el presente. And so you will notice that I use the subject pronouns yo, tú, etc. It is up to you whether or not you write those down. I will also be saying out loud the English translations. I would advise you to write those down if they are helpful to you, but if they are not, then whether or not you write them down is up to you, okay? You do what's going to work for you and help you out. So we have yo soy, I am. Tú eres, you are, informal, so that's used to talk to someone you know well, close friend, a friend, family member. Él, ella, or usted es, he or she is, or you are, formal, used to talk to someone you don't know very well, potentially your boss if you have a job, other situations like that. Nosotros somos, we are. Vosotros sois, which is you all are, only in Spain. And then ellos or ellas son, they are. And ustedes son, you all are. And remember that, please, that ellos and ellas can only mean they, and ustedes can only mean you all. These words are not interchangeable. Now, before we go on to the descriptions, the mnemonic device that we've often used in Spanish, at least in some of our classes, is Doctor Pelt. And you'll notice if you're using the skeletal notes in the middle of the first page that you see the word doctor followed by lines. And so, you want to make sure that you get these words down. You may certainly, of course, stop, pause the video, rewind, and rewind, repeat to make sure you get things down. But we have the D is for description. So describing what something looks like, what someone looks like, etc., etc. O, occupation. So that's someone's job. C is characteristics, so someone's personality. T is time. O is origin, where someone is from. So for example, yo soy de Chicago, I am from Chicago. And R is for relationships, describing relationships between two different people, okay? So once you have those down, or two or more different people, better said, once you have those down, you're going to go on and write down the examples, por favor, for the next several letters for the mnemonic device here. So for A, description, when we use ser, cuando usamos ser, la escuela secundaria de FHS es muy grande. Es una escuela con una población diversa. So the translation, if it helps you to write it, Framingham High School is very big. It is a school with a diverse population. Origen, where someone is from. La señora es de Chicago. ¿De dónde son ustedes? Señora is from Chicago. From where are you? Or where are you all from? Moving on to characteristics. Los estudiantes son trabajadores. Es un grupo que hace muchas preguntas y siempre quiere aprender más. The students are hardworking. It is a group that asks a lot of questions and always wants to learn more. So describing personality traits, in this case, of a group of students. Time, and this also has to go with hour, date, etc. And this was originally made in September, I believe, of 2019. And of course, this year is a little different than last year, or very different than last year. But the example we have is es miércoles el 11 de septiembre. Son las 9:15 de la mañana. It's Wednesday, September 11th, although of course it is November and closer to Thanksgiving. It is 9:15 in the morning. And finally, our last two for ser. Occupation. La señora es profesora de español. Ustedes son estudiantes. Señora is a Spanish teacher. You all are students. So even if student is a temporary profession, just what you do now, and you're not getting paid for it, and you're not necessarily doing it by choice, you're doing it because you have to be here, that is considered your profession, and you do use the verb ser for it. All right. And finally, for relationship, we have mis padres son Raz y Seth. Yo soy su hija. También Sarah y Noah son mis hermanos menores. My parents are Raz and Seth. I am their daughter. Also, Sarah and Noah are my younger siblings, which is true. They are both younger than I am. They're both taller than I am, especially my sister, who's about 6 feet tall. Perdón. Once you have this down, remember you can certainly pause and go back. You're going to move on to cómo conjugamos, lo siento, estar en el presente. So once again, same type of thing. You see the subject pronouns here. I will go over the meanings, although of course the meanings are the same. The actual translations are the same for the verb estar and ser, verb estar and ser. The reasons why we use them are quite different, okay? So for yo, we have yo estoy, I am. Tú estás, you are informal. Él, ella, usted está, he or she is, or you are formal. Nosotros estamos, we are. Vosotros estáis, you all are. And ellos, ellas, or ustedes están, they are, or you all are. And remember, once again, ellos, ellas means they, ustedes means you all. One thing to keep in mind is that using the accents here is absolutely essential, especially when it comes to estás and está. If you do not use the accent on estás, the word will mean these. If you do not use the accent on está, the word will mean this. So once again, we have a situation where the use of accents or not is going to completely change the meaning of the word. If you're using the skeletal notes, you'll notice towards the bottom of Página 2, the letters pelt, P-E-L-T. And so just to make sure we go over these, Pe is the presente progresivo, present progressive. Hopefully you did this in Spanish too, and you'll see a couple of examples. You'll let me know if you're familiar with it or not. You know, this year I know may be a bit different for many of us in terms of what we recall and what we did. E, or the letter E in English, is for emotions. L is for location, and te, or T, is for temporary. So keep that in mind moving forward. So here we have our last examples here. Cuando usamos estar, sí. Para presente progresivo, we have a little pretend conversation here. ¿Qué están haciendo ahora? What are you all doing now? You can tell it's a you all because of the answer being nosotros. Nosotros estamos escribiendo apuntes sobre ser y estar. We are writing notes about ser and estar, although of course this year you're more likely to be typing them, but some of you may be writing them out instead, of course, as well. For A, we have emotions. And once again, a little mini conversation. ¿Cómo estás tú hoy? How are you today? Like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? And we have hoy, yo estoy feliz y emocionada. Today, I am happy and excited. Remember, emocionado or emocionada is how we want to say excited. If you go to Página 3, if you're on the skeletal notes, you want to make sure you write down location. La escuela de FHS está en la calle A en Framingham y el centro comercial está en Natick. Framingham High School is on A Street in Framingham, and the mall is in Natick. Centro Comercial means mall. And finally, we have te for temporary. And we have another little, couple of examples here. Ahora yo estoy cansada. Today I am tired. And the last one, ¿estás tú enfermo hoy? Are you sick today? I certainly hope that no one is, especially nowadays. Okay, so now what you can do is go on and do some practice on conjuguemos. If you need help with your username or password, please feel free to let me know. Gracias.